All right. Well, thank you, Dale. That was a real good opening introduction here into what is yet another online enterprise automation summit for us. Yes, we really, really wanted to meet in person. I got my booster shot. I was hoping to see more people, but unfortunately, the time and tides and the authorities will not let us do big gatherings yet. And perhaps that's wise as we look at where we are. But here we are, all gathered, and much to be thankful for. It's been a great year for the company. We've grown and grown as a company. We've had tremendous success, best year ever, records every quarter, every year. Much to be thankful for. So yes, we can't meet in person, but as the pandemic becomes an endemic, a new word, we will have a chance to meet again. And certainly, I and others will be traveling a whole lot more with some of the boosters and things that we see. So my task here is to really take you through where we are and where we're going. Okay, I'd like to keep it simple and run through a couple of high-level points. There's some very smart people presenting right after me. There's going to be some deep insights that marry business and technology from Aragon Research. These are thoughtful, brilliant people that have influenced our thinking, influenced the thinking of thousands of enterprises across the globe, and it's really, really some good thinking there. And then a massively hands-on session with our stars, Michael Nixon and Mark Gibbs, head of product marketing and product management, and just some very, very, very good thinking there. So stay tuned. I'll try to get past my session so the really smart people can come on here. All right, let's go through this. So first, let's talk a little bit about the past. As some of you know, I've been in the data business for decades. Prior to this, I started Informatica as chief executive, built that into market leader in that space in the 12 years that I was there. So I've seen a few things. When I look back at those times, I won't bore you with all the barefoot in the snow, uphill both ways kind of stories about those times. Needless to say, the limitations of that time influenced the kind of solutions we could bring to market. Computing was expensive and storage were scarce. It's amusing to some people, which shall we say, a lot of frequent flyer miles. People like me, when we look at the price of things today, it's awakening. But that said, at that time, we built the best solutions we could for the requirements of that time. We did a lot of wonderful things. But the limitations of that time, before the World Wide Web, before the internet, were also there. You know, things required a lot of thinking. You had to learn a lot of things to make any kind of impact. I liken that, it wasn't as bad as sort of my father's generation, which had to learn. My father still knows the table of an eighth and a 16th because you had to make change from currency in fractions. So the kids had to memorize those things. Oh, we didn't have to memorize that, but we had to memorize like Unix command lines. I'm not ashamed to say that I knew some of the keystrokes and all those things. But we don't need to do that anymore. And just as that has changed, I think we're going to see greater and greater productivity in the times ahead because now we have new things that help us do things faster. But one thing I will say, and the reason we picked this picture in front of you, is what was very good about those times is since we were replacing mainframes, which had had decades and decades of thought go into them, with modern client server systems, this is in the mid 90s, we had to be very mindful of architecture. We had to think really hard and rigorously. We weren't willy-nilly changing things. When we modified business process, we thought about business process re-engineering rather than, oh, well, let's just replace something. So despite some of the friction in the pricing and in the technologies available to us, in my role at Informatica, my peers at other companies around me, all made an impact, and we made it with some architectural rigor and some good thinking. So let's move to the present time, get on our time machine and go forward about 10, 15 years. And here we are in the present day. So what do we see today? I bet you were expecting flying cars. No flying cars. I don't know if we'll see them. But what we are seeing is just this rush to instant gratification. This massive rush towards instant gratification where people want something very, very quickly. And there is a tendency to over-rotate on point-to-point solutions. No, two cans and a string do not make a communication system, okay? Those things have to be robust, have to be secure, they have to scale, they have to be fast, all the kinds of boring things that somebody who's rushing to you with a point-to-point solution, someone who's coming to you with what may soon be a toy in the land of broken toys is not going to tell you. You know, so at the risk of appearing curmudgeonly and being that guy, I have to just get on a rant here. Dale alluded to it earlier. You know, I saw a presentation, a LinkedIn post from somebody I actually know, who the post was, "Does architecture matter?" And it's all I could do to not feed the troll and not sort of take the link bait. No doubt that article and some of the other articles that were mentioned earlier, the Wall Street Journal article that I sent around with, like, can you believe this, to the management team? Those kind of articles are, I believe, link bait, are designed to stir thinking and make us think about things differently. But I'm also here to tell you that one of the best things I've ever seen in our engineering team is a line, an email signature line that some of our technologists have, which is, building software without an architecture is like exploring a cave without a flashlight. You don't know where you've been, you don't know where you are, and you don't know where you're going. And so it's very, very important to keep that in mind. Architecture matters. And at the same time, some of the frustrations that we have about slowness, about some of the issues that we may have faced in the past, have to be overcome, but architecture matters. So then the question becomes, what do we do? Should we skip over all this hard part and just avoid it and go back to the future? Should we just rewind and go back to a more of a, I hesitate to say slide rule pass, but kind of a world that we used to know, with a lot of command lines and a lot of rigor and multi-year projects and that sort of thing? No, I don't think we should do that. I think we should go boldly into the future. And as we go boldly into the future, we should try to apply some of the lessons we've learned and see what we can do. So let's talk about the future, which is really what this Enterprise Automation Summit is about. And let's jump into that. So to my mind, first of all, and I think this is really important, it's sort of a deep underlying philosophy for the company. Look, we are, especially in Silicon Valley, as I look out my window at some of the other companies here in San Mateo, there's some massive speculation going on. I'm here to tell you that I had, in a former life, I was at the helm. There were about 12 integration IPOs in the late 90s, early 2000s. Only 2 survived when the bubble burst, only 2. And I was at the helm of one. So we feel that we want to make bold bets as we go into the future, but we think gambling is a bad idea. Okay, you'll hear from potentially how you could win at cards if you can game the house or do so, some sort of thing, as a way to think about mathematics applied in business. But to my mind, the way we look at it is, we feel a very deep obligation to our customers. We take the duty of making you successful exactly as that is, a duty or a dharma. We do not take that lightly. I take my duty to my colleagues very, very seriously. We're not here to speculate or gamble with their careers or with the investments, the massive investments you all have made in our technology. So we look at this and our duty to our stakeholders as a duty. And as a result, you will see us make bold, aggressive bets, but you will not see us speculate. You will not see us do growth at all cost or behave in an irresponsible manner. And that is what is informing our thinking. That is how we're thinking about the future. We think the future is massively multi-cloud. It's a massively multi-cloud enterprise. I tip my hat to the massively multiplayer gaming universe of decades ago that came up with a wonderful 3-letter acronym that I'm trying to use to describe our thinking, to frame how we feel as a business, to feel how we should make investments and grow our company. That massively multi-cloud enterprise is happening around us. There are hundreds of billions of dollars in the public cloud, and as a result, you're seeing a lot of toys rush in. You're also seeing a lot of serious players. Everybody I talk to has multiple clouds. There are private clouds, public clouds, where private clouds might replace even what could be a data center in the past, could become a virtual data center. that is happening, certainly public clouds. And then for most of our customers are people who are large enterprises who run the world. These folks have partner clouds. They have BPOs, they have partners who do things for them, and frequently they need APIs to be able to interact and make things work with them. You'll hear today from some of the finest minds in analytics in the cloud data warehousing. That is taking multiple forms, and our customers are using, as you know better than we do, multiple cloud data warehouse, data lake, and architectures and kind of ways to make things happen. So this massively multi-cloud enterprise future is going to happen. In that massively multi-cloud enterprise, architecture matters. We've talked about some of these things. Reuse absolutely matters. You can't simply have, hundreds of thousands or millions of templates or recipes piled up in a big heap and hope that somebody will, in the heat of battle, find the right thing at the right time. That is a shocking and I would say appalling lack of reuse. The right way to do it is to apply some of the things we are applying to promote reuse, to use artificial intelligence. Heck, my family can't even decide what movie to watch on Netflix, and they only have 5,000. I don't know if the rest of you have this problem, but in my family, we spend more time looking for the movie than watching the movie. And there's always somebody with a long face. Sometimes it's me. Like they pick something I don't like. Okay, fine. But we're going to watch a family movie tonight, so we're going to watch a family movie tonight. So the right way to do it is to rely on some of the automation and scale that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. So in that massively multi-cloud enterprise future, we've evolved a framework on how we look at things. And it's a framework that was built by McKinsey & Co. We were very inspired by it. And by the way, shout out to McKinsey for being a longstanding customer, a pioneering customer of ours. And in this framework, McKinsey outlines how businesses should plan 3 horizons: the present time, the next, and long shot bets. That way, you avoid being obsoleted and you can make bets and make sure you run your business responsibly. So there are sure bets. There are bets that could have some element of risk but pay off, and then you make these big change the future bets as you go forward. So for SnapLogic, the bets that we have made are around the sure bets are coming in the platform every release. This morning, we issued a press release about the platform. There's so much in the platform that what used to be a 1-hour engineering meeting show and tell became 2 hours is now 4 hours. It takes 4 hours for engineers to show each other what they built every quarter. That pace of innovation will continue at the blistering pace that it always has. That is Horizon 1 bets. That's our promise to you. Many of those things are done in collaboration with you. The Horizon 2 bets, some of the things that we see emerging are around, in our case at SnapLogic, we have put forward flows. This is a great way to bring business into the embrace of the more thoughtful architectural place that we have always been strong in. Flows are shipping now. They're available. And as you might imagine from people like us who think about these things very deeply, take these responsibilities very seriously, of course, flows work with pipelines. You can start and stop a flow, add a pipeline, so your good friend in IT can help you in marketing to manage your leads, to manage your partner channel, to do the kind of things that you don't want to bother with, but it is secure, it is scalable, and it is very, very fast because they've thought through the systems issues, the management issues, the capacity issues, to make that happen in a good way. Similarly, we've added phenomenal capability in API management. Why? Because one of the clouds you're going to be talking to is your partner cloud. It's not just what you can do, it's inside, it's also how you build up more of a microservices approach to create more automations and work with some of the custom built things in the enterprise. So that capability is growing from strength to strength, and there's some new capacities that have become available. In February, you'll see us knock it out and take on anybody in the industry who is a provider of API management, and that is happening in a fantastic way. Now, but as many of you know, our big bet from times past, from keynotes in the past, has always been around artificial intelligence. AI is the greatest game changer of my career, in my opinion. You know, I missed the microprocessor. I was in school, even though I've been doing this for a long time. That was before my time. But to me, on the scale of computing epochs, things that are at a planetary scale, artificial intelligence is a big change. It's a big force multiplier. And our big bet has been, will be on artificial intelligence. That is our big bet because it has immediate benefits and long-term benefits. We believe artificial intelligence can be used to precisely and smoothly, autonomously connect the enterprise in a way that promotes reuse. This absurdity of hundreds of thousands of templates has to go away. It's not that people don't want to share. Their tendency is to cut and paste. They cut it, copy it, modify it a little bit, and then nobody can maintain it. With artificial intelligence, you get reuse in a way that is like breathing. We will apply artificial intelligence to the mundane but awkward task of connectivity. How do I configure this? How do I connect to that? So artificial intelligence applies itself to connectivity. Those capabilities are on the drawing board, will be shipping in the new year. And then, importantly, artificial intelligence can also be applied at runtime, and that is our plan. It can detect anomalies. If a good banker can automatically increase overdrafts for you if you forget to deposit some money or do something, why can't a smart platform provider automatically scale up or detect anomalies and say, you're running a hotspot, you probably haven't thought about it, but your overseas subsidiary is running really hot. We're going to put a bunch of nodes behind that. We'll give you a call and we'll take care of it. And if you want to keep that capacity going, great. If there's an issue, or there could be a bug, it could be an endpoint that has a problem. So that way, using artificial intelligence and bringing it together in the right way is, to our mind, the winning future. You get architecture for the enterprise in the way that SnapLogic has always been a thought leader, always been first to market. I mean, we've been running in the cloud since 2008, for God's sake. Some of the people who come in the market now are probably riding tricycles back then. But we've been doing this for a long time, not just here, in other places. And that, we believe, that experience comes to play. But we're listening, we're hearing all the changes, and we believe to be successful, IT and business must work together, will work together with the right kind of tooling, with the right kind of platform, and with the right kind of practical project management ideas, the right people ideas on who does what. What is a central issue? For example, in a democracy, defense is a central issue. We don't want the police department here to have their own F-15s. At the same time, we don't want the Air Force to come here and put down parking tickets in San Mateo either. So this combination of federation, where you have global and local concerns working together through the platform, we believe is a winning future. So look, as we wrap up, one little plug, and then I will hand back over to the next series of presenters. We thought about this so deeply that I would be remiss if I didn't hold up we wrote the book on enterprise automation, folks. Okay, we wrote the book on enterprise automation, and if you have a chance, download it. It was a lot of good thinking on people in the company, a lot of hard work by some of our leaders to put it together. And this is how we think about it. And the long form of what I just said is in that book. So please give it a gander. But as we hand over to the next presenter here, what's really, really important for me is to remind you that the future is hybrid. There's going to be technology and data here and there. As we come out of the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of companies that were 100% cloud suffer the consequences of slowdowns. And we're seeing some of the companies that were a combination of being in the cloud and on-premise win. So in this hybrid workplace, we believe our technology plan, our future plan, and our feedback from our customers puts us both in a really winning position, puts us in a position to win big, to make your project successful, because some of that boring on-premise stuff, it's coming back as we come out of the pandemic. And when you do the best of cloud and on-premise, you win big in this decade. That is our promise to you, and that is how we plan to support and make things happen for you. So thank you, everyone, for listening patiently. If you managed to stay awake through this, continue to do so. There's some really good speakers coming up, and enjoy the show. Thank you very much.